There we go. Good evening, guys. Welcome to another live combined operations podcast chat thing that we do. Matt here. I've got my gin in my Ultramarines glass this evening. I have some models to paint, so they'll be progressively getting worse throughout the evening. And I'm joined by Mr. Christopher Basie.
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
And Mr. Andrew Parnell.
Hi, good evening.
How's it going, guys?
Going
Good.
well?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, going well. I'm currently painting 15mm Germans, but apart from that, everything's fine.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I tell you what, yeah, bad. Yeah, bad at all. As we progress, obviously you've got things to talk about, but I can recommend Plastic Surgery Company. I tell you, they're very good.
Good to know. Good to know. Andrew, you up to much this evening?
Currently no, because I need both hands for building.
What are you building? What were you planning to build before you were now having to hold your phone?
Them.
Did they actually send you a whole box?
Yes.
So, okay, so little context here. So last weekend, Andrew came down to finally get some games of Age of Sigmar in. And he literally was like, I was like, have you built your Lizardmen yet? He was like, no, but I'll have them built before I get there, which was a lie. He didn't have them built. We had to build them. So the first few hours we spent building his Lizardmen instead of playing. Anyway, came to building his Saurus Knights, and he had the cold ones, but he didn't have the riders.
Riders.
So he emailed GW like, look, I bought this box set like a year ago, but I've only just got around to building it. And
It wasn't a year ago. It was like October. So
it was September. It was on my birthday, mate. It was September.
Oh yeah, it wasn't it? Yeah.
Almost a year ago. So and basically GW were like, oh, you got proof of purchase, and he's like, well, no, I bought it in Warhammer World though, but no proof of purchase. Anyway, so we didn't thought, oh, it's not fine. Nothing's going to happen. And then the next thing I know, Andrew's messaging me like, hey, they sent me a whole box of lights. So now you've just got a load of cold ones that are basically useless.
Well, no, I've looked online for bits, and like I think I've got enough spares for like heads and shields. I just need the bodies. So I'll just buy like 8 bodies, and
I reckon you'll be able to get the sprues somewhere. Someone somewhere would have wanted
there was some on eBay going for like £2.
Ooh.
No, it wasn't. It was like £1. I put a £2 bet, and I was like the highest bidder. It went for over £10.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's still like £5 cheaper than buying a whole box set.
I did see a box on there for £10.
God damn it. Well, if anyone out there is selling some cold one Lizardmen riders,
I just need the bodies
we just literally just need.
because I've got heads and shields for days.
Not something I've got in my cupboard, unfortunately.
Bretonians, though.
I've actually got, since I had a little bit of eBay spurge, I've only got the stuff I've got like this. I've only got my painted stuff left. I've got rid of all the cheesy Pegasus Knights I got. When I was building net lists every week, trying to beat people before I saw the light. But no, I got rid of all that gear. It's all gone.
Shocking.
I went via eBay.
Well, I sold my Adeptus Titanicus today. I wasn't going to, but I don't think I'll play it much, and I want to spend more money on Lord of the Rings for obvious reasons.
Was that the Titan box set?
Yeah, I bought it, and then I didn't even open it. I literally stuck it straight on eBay and sold it.
Wow.
How much profit did you make?
Well, I wasn't trying to be too much of a dick,
But
It is you.
but, isn't it? I sold it for retail price.
Okay.
But obviously, I didn't pay the full retail price
Yeah.
because I got it from somewhere that was selling it for a bit of a discount. So I feel like I wasn't a complete dick, and someone got it cheaper than what other people are selling it for. But I did sell it for retail price, so I did make a small profit on it, which will go towards my Lord of the Rings.
Have you got everything from Lord of the Rings now?
That's a lie because there's a new box set coming out. You may have heard.
I did see that actually.
You only got 2 new figures in it.
Yeah, but there is a nice hardback rulebook in there.
But I suppose you couldn't possibly get that separately. So yeah, good.
Well, there is separately, but it's like 35 quid separately. So why would I not just spend like 70 quid and get a whole box set?
Too right. That makes perfect sense to me, actually. So yeah,
Exactly, and I want that Feyenoord model. Even though I'm not a big fan of it, like I said last time. But I have actually seen it in person now, and it is better than I thought when I saw the pictures.
you do appreciate for our viewers. You're probably saying exactly all the things you're saying now, exactly the opposite to what you said last time.
Yeah.
Well, I did say I would probably buy the box set anyway.
If you look at backpaddling in the dictionary, you'll just see a picture of Matt there.
With a block, the Polana Fields, whatever it's called, under his arm, walking out with
Well, so the reason for this episode is because I spent a weekend away this weekend. And I mean, it's not just the only reason. Obviously, it's nice to get together with you lot and chat shit.
And he doesn't get out much.
I don't get out much. So I'm indoors right now.
Which is strange because I'm sat in a field.
I had to look up just to double check that you actually weren't.
That's a funny looking field. Anyway, carry on.
I bring my walls with me.
Fair. You sure it's not just a garden? Anyway, so I was at Ardacon this weekend. I did a few posts on the group, but I was actually a little bit drunk, busy, whatever. I didn't actually drink that much, but anyway, I was merry anyway, so I forgot to do it a lot of the time. I did record some stuff while I was there as well, but I don't think it'll be of any use
You weren't Pippin then.
Sorry?
You weren't Pippin.
What's that? Why?
You said you were a bit merry.
Oh, that was good. I like that.
That was a bad. Don't encourage him.
That was superb. But do you get it? Because it's like Lord of the Rings, and do
you get it? Like you have to explain it because I don't think you appreciate it that much. So do you get it? Because it's like Lord of the Rings, Merry Pippin.
I didn't appreciate it. It was good though. It was actually now. I'm appreciating it now in hindsight.
Yeah, it gets better. It gets better every time you say it in your head.
Yeah. Oh, I just broke a wing. Oh well.
Another one.
No, I broke a feather.
Oh, right.
These are quite fragile. I figured out these models are quite fragile. Oh well.
The last time I saw stuff off where you were in Manchester.
I was in Manchester. I was at Ardacon, and it was the biggest Lord of the Rings strategy battle game event ever.
Ever,
I believe.
Wow.
There was 210 players in the grand tournament.
Nice.
There were 95 teams in the doubles on Friday.
Bloody hell. Were you in a doubles team? Sorry.
I was. Yeah, I was in the doubles as well. So I played 10 games over the weekend. I played there was like an icebreaker game on the Friday morning, which was tables of 3 or 4 players, and you just took like a fun list, and there was like secret objectives. It was a bit like playing 40k with the objective cards. So like you draw 3 new cards every turn and try and score them. And I thought I'd won that game as well until we realised that we did a little vote at the start, and for the player with the sort of funnest arm, like sort of fluffiest army. And I got 1 vote, and the other guy got 2, and the other guy got none. But sadly, that actually gave the other guy 2 points, and he actually beat me by 1 point. So, as much as I thought I'd won that game, it turns out I didn't. But it was still a good game. And then in the doubles, me and Adam actually did pretty well. We won our first 2 games, but lost our third. We came in 44th out of 95 teams in the end.
Out of 3 games, you won 2 and came 44th.
Yeah, it was quite the point scoring. I mean, we were probably joint 30th or something, but because of the way the points worked, and it was
tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I'll get to the singles in a minute, but I mean, we were really happy. We wanted to do well in the doubles, and I think we were playing on table 13 in the 3rd round, so we were quite high up there. If we had won, we didn't come close to winning the 3rd game. The scenario completely screwed our army list over, but the guys we played were lovely. But if we had won, we would have come top 10.
Right.
But yeah, it was a fantastic night. I love teaming up with Adam for doubles.
Good tables and stuff.
Scenery. was lovely. Each table was sort of well balanced. There wasn't loads of scenery on the tables, but it was all nicely done. I'll share some videos of that I did take. But yeah, all of the scenery was nicely done. It was all painted. There was no polystyrene blocks. And the guys that ran the event was very well run. Very well run. Everything went fairly smoothly. The games were kept mostly on time. There were a bit of, I think on the Saturday it ran over a little bit, but there was quite a lot going on the Saturday.
Point system work all right?
In what way, mate?
I mean, was it fair?
Do you mean like the
victory points? Yeah.
Yeah. So you got 30 tournament points for a win. I think it was 10 for a draw and nothing for a loss. And there was 6 for the singles. There were 6 bonus objectives you could try and achieve. You picked one per game, and you had to pick a different one each game.
Mm-hmm.
I scored one of those over the weekend. They were tough. They were quite tough to actually score. Obviously, because otherwise I would have got all of them. And again, same in the doubles. There was three bonus sort of points in the doubles. We didn't score any of them, I don't think, when we were playing doubles. And you got 5 points every time you completed one of those. So the most you could score in the doubles was 105 points for 3 wins and all 3 bonus objectives. And then if it was any ties, were decided by the victory points of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly acceptable. I think me and Adam won. I think we won 5-2 in the first game. Then we won 4-1, and then we lost 12-0 in the last game because the scenario really screwed us.
What was the last scenario?
It was the one where you basically start with your you roll off, and each opponent's commander starts like in the middle of the table opposite the opponent's commander. So we had to deploy really, really aggressively because none of our characters were exactly combat characters. So I had Vrasku, who's at the crossbow Urukai, who's probably our best fighter in close combat as well. And I also had a shaman, who's obviously useless in combat. Luckily, it was Vrasku that ended up in the middle. I say luckily, he's still not very good in combat. And then also we had the Witch King, but the magic Witch King, not the close combat Witch King.
Yeah.
And who else? Oh, and a Barrow White, who is not a combat character. So it did not go well, that scenario. So that's why we lost 12-0. Which actually was our worst loss. It was the worst loss I had in any of the games, I think.
Feels a little bit like taking a Crusader AA to playing open battlefield and rinsing.
Yeah, I mean, in my singles list, I did take 10 crossbows. So I mean, that's essentially the same.
Like a CeeLo Heights version of Lord of the Rings, you mean?
Yeah, I tried. It didn't work out very well because shooting isn't that effective in Lord of the Rings. But I mean, it is. It can be. But I say that I did win like one of the 2 games. I had a very one of my games in the singles. So in the singles, I was the lowest ranked player in our team, but I did better than I sort of expected. I came 166 out of 210 players, which I think it was my first Lord of the Rings tournament.
What did you go for, isn't it? I mean, you went there to play Lord of the Rings. You didn't necessarily go there to.
I didn't realize how competitive it was going to be. I mean, I assumed because obviously it's a big event, but
I'm only messing when I say you play like whack lists and stuff, because generally all lists are a well balanced kind of like play the list you want to play, don't you? So
exactly. And I designed my list 2 weeks before the event. One of the guys, not that I played, but that Joe played, was like, "Oh yeah, I designed my list 6 months ago. I've been playing it at the club every week since since then, just to fine tune it, and we literally decided our list 2 weeks ago. And like I didn't play a single test. I haven't played a single test game in 3 months. And then when I did play a test list, I used a completely different list and got wiped. So it was quite funny hearing all these people how long they've been planning for this.
Yeah.
You're a bit like me, to be fair. That you go to the tournaments to play the game for like over a weekend, because I don't play that much anyway. So I really enjoy just playing the game for a weekend.
Yeah.
All I will say is I played 10 games over the weekend. The icebreaker, the 3 in the doubles, and then 6 games in the singles. I had 10 of the funnest games I've ever had at a tournament. Every opponent I played, I mean, it probably helped that I was never high up in the rankings, so I never got to play any of the sort of the really serious people.
Yeah.
Because there were, I know Joe. At one point, he'd like won 3 games. No, he'd won 2. Anyway, Joe was running the fellowship, just the fellowship, and no one expected him to do very well, and he actually did all right. I think he finished 95th in the end, and Adam, whose Moria list was quite filthy, he finished 94th, and our other team member Rob finished 165th. So we had 2 little bundles of us. One of us, Joe and Adam, both won 3, lost 3, and me and Rob both won 2, lost 4. So we were pretty close. Yeah, we weren't far away from each other. And there was the other Joe who was in our team, who we didn't actually know. He just sort of joined our team just to make up numbers, because we didn't realize there was a balancing rule on teams about good and evil. So we sort of, and we actually didn't speak to him until the last day, not on purpose, just because we didn't really bump into him. Sorry, Joe. He was actually a really nice guy as well. he's still on our group chat, so he obviously doesn't hate us that much.
He was guy, but only spoke to him on the last day.
He actually propped up our team probably because he won 3 and drew 3 games over the weekend, which is pretty awesome. And he came like 59th in the end. So just to give you some perspective on how the rankings work, the guy that won it is the game designer of the game.
What?
He's called Jay Clare. He's the one that's responsible for like the new edition. And he seems nice enough.
Bit hacky though, isn't he?
I mean,
play the game that I'm responsible for building. Oh, I won. Strange that.
He was brought onto the team apparently because he was a very good tournament player, and they wanted his help like balancing the game and stuff. But he's pretty much responsible for the new rules when they come out next week. I mean, he did a seminar on Saturday, which was one of the best things about the weekend, to be fair, because I got to see, like, hear about how the game is changing, and everything sounds really decent.
Can you talk about any of the new rules? Or
of course I can. That is why we're here. I wanted to talk about stuff that I heard.
Okay, cool. So what have you heard? What's the news? Pass it down.
Some of it's already online. If you look about online, it will be on there already. But so let me stop shaking my brush a minute and we'll talk about it. So every profile in the game has been tweaked, or not necessarily tweaked, but looked at and balanced. So a Warrior of Rohan was like their base. What they decided was the sort of the base level model, and everything would be based on the Warrior of Rohan. So the Warrior of Rohan hasn't changed. He is exactly the same as he is now.
He's a medium. He's the actual.
He is Mr. Joe Average.
Exactly, because he's human. He's not heavily armored.
He's not overly experienced in fighting.
Well, he's all right. He's got fight value 3 or whatever, which is like the sort of the middle ground. So a Warrior of Rohan is what they used as basically their base point, is what was sort of put across in the seminar. And then from there, they've sort of gone, right, we'll look at every other profile in the game, from The Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, all the other books and everything, and we'll balance them all. And try and make everything usable and competitive.
Right.
So, for example, a warrior of Minas Tirith, just your basic warrior of Minas Tirith, isn't considered that great and isn't used very often. People will generally skip the warriors and just go for the elite stuff.
Yeah. I can vouch for that.
What?
So I can vouch for that.
Yeah, well, you've got Minas Tirith, so that you'll find this interesting. So basically, what they've decided to make Minas Tirith warriors more viable as a choice, and obviously to keep it in the spirit of the films and the books and stuff, they've given warriors of Minas Tirith the shield wall rule, which the dwarf Iron Hills have. So basically, as long as you've got at least 3 guys all stood next to each other and touching their bases, they get +1 defense.
Okay, cool.
So it instantly makes them a bit tougher because that will go from defense 6.
Was that not a rule a while ago? Like, I'm thinking like 2 or 3 editions ago.
I want to say no. It might have been.
Like the first edition when you had like loads of them. I'm sure that if you were like lined up, it might not be.
I don't think it was. I don't because it's a fairly newish rule. I think that they brought in with the Iron Hills dwarves.
Yeah.
And I think maybe some other people have it as well, but definitely the Iron Hills dwarves were one of the first I remember hearing about it. But anyway, they've given that to the Minas Tirith warriors, just the warriors, not like the Fountain Court Guard or anything like that. So it just gives you a benefit to take the basic warriors rather than just armies of Fountain Court Guard. One of the other examples they gave was the Balrog, who's basically considered to not be a very good choice for like competitive lists. Sort of too expensive, doesn't really do as much as what it should, isn't as inspiring as it should. You know, it doesn't fulfill its role on the battlefield of what it should be. You know, considering you got the Fellowship fleeing before it in the films and in the books and stuff, and actually it's not that good in game. So apparently that's getting a huge tweak. Sort of apparently that's changing a lot. The Balrog is changing a lot, so it'll be more competitive. The Eagles as well apparently aren't that great, although I came up against one and it killed a few Urukai before I shot it out the sky. So Eagles are apparently becoming sort of, well, they said they're becoming better than Fell Beasts.
Okay.
Don't know how or why, but Eagles should be better than Fell Beasts, which is fair because in the films, the Eagles just batter through the Fell Beasts.
You do seem throwing the Fell Beasts around.
Exactly. So, in theory, that is a good change. They didn't really go into any more specifics. They said that models with lots of different profiles, like Elrond, would be sort of merged into one profile. So there's not lots of different versions of the same model.
Yeah, sure.
But there are ways of making them different. So, like maybe like each model will have more options rather than being lots of different.
So it'd be like you're allowed a total of X amount of points. It's like so many spells.
I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's going to work.
Like, you can either have a guard stance for the first, like the second battle, or he's like a sword master later on. You have to pick one of the two.
Again, don't know how it's going to work exactly, but apparently they're going to be a little bit more pricey. So I think they used Elrond as an example. He's still going to have a few of his special rules, but he's going to be a bit more expensive. But it will combine the best bits of all the current profiles into one, not super profile, but sort of one better profile. So I don't know how it's going to work all together, but they've finally given Theoden will points.
They're what doing?
They've given Theoden will points. So Theoden's like worth using again.
Yeah.
So magic's like super overpowered in Lord of the Rings right now. Like almost everyone takes some sort of spellcaster. No matter what, basically, it's just a thing now.
Except for Gondor.
Well, I mean, you can ally them in.
Could do. Have Gandalf there.
But that's another thing, is they're now rewarding you for taking themed lists.
Okay, so you get like the battle list sort of things? So you get the perks when you get
exactly. So, and this event in December, I think, uses, or at least the same event last year used a similar thing. I think they used that as a test, see if it would change what people brought, and I guess it did because I think they've now introduced it into the rules. So, for example, what examples did they use? Rohan. So all riders of Rohan now get +1 strength on the charge if you take a pure Rohan list.
That's good because they do a lot of charging.
And it's to encourage you to do it more because Rohan are considered not super great. Again, I don't know because I don't play enough competitive to know this, but this is from what I've heard. Just talk a lot. I mean, I spoke to so many people during the event. It was great meeting loads of people.
Yeah.
And the guys that I've been speaking to is basically Rohan, not that competitive. A cavalry charge isn't quite as devastating as it is in the films. You don't see them wash away people. But now, if you take a pure Rohan list, you get +1 strength on the charge. Can't argue with that.
No, I mean, it's a free upgrade at the end of the day. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I've forgotten. They gave one other example, and I can't remember what one it was. I can't remember. But anyway, basically every army is going to get its own army bonus. And if you run pure lists, or I think they said they were going to label it as historical allies. So there's going to be an ally matrix, like you get in 40k, like you get in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
So like this ally,
like
these guys
down menu sort of thing.
Yeah. So these guys can ally with these guys. These guys can ally with these guys. These guys might ally with these guys, but they're a bit unsure about it.
Yeah.
If you take the top tier alliances, and you take like a warband from one and a warband from the other, you get both army bonuses. So you don't lose your army bonus as long as they're like allies of.
So I can take a Rohan cavalry and
Minas Tirith troops, and you'd get both army bonuses.
Sweet.
So,
I mean, would that affect both armies then?
No. So like the Rohan get the Rohan bonus, and the Gondor get the Gondor.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't know whether if like all cavalry got a bonus. And
No. They're encouraging you to build. I'm going to say historically accurate lists, because obviously the Lord of the Rings is historical and is not a work of fiction.
No, Lord of the Rings was a documentary.
That's what I heard. Yeah. So they're trying to encourage you to build fluffy historical lists, and play them as they are sort of played in the books/films.
Sure.
So I'm here painting loads of Easterlings now, so that this tournament in December I can run Easterlings, unless they have a rubbish army special rule, in which case I'll run something else.
You'll melt them down and use them for lead weights.
No, I'm looking for. I think I might enjoy playing the Easterlings on a bigger scale.
Are you going to carry on using them for the thing that we do?
Battle companies, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Although I really want to run the new Rangers of the North battle company, because I just want to run 10 heroes in a warband and just be like, ha ha ha, I'm winning. So in the singles at Ardacon, I won 2 games and lost 4, like I said.
I do have a question, though.
Okay.
You sent me that picture with all your berserkers on the floor?
Yeah, it was most of my army on the floor at that point.
What happened there? You said Elrond.
It was Elrond, yeah. So Elrond has a spell that magic's getting nerfed considerably. I don't know if I said that already, but they've already said that magic
is overpowered.
Magic is getting nerfed. That was one of the points that they were that was cheered during the seminar. So magic is going to take a bit of a beating in the new edition. It's meant to be more subtle, like it is in the books and the films, rather than being in your face, blowing your troops across the table, which created some hilarious moments in the games I had this weekend. But also, you're sort of like, this would not happen. I mean, it might.
Lord of the Rings.
So yeah, so I first game I was against the guy that finished 25th overall.
No, nice.
Obviously, I didn't know that at this point, but a really nice guy. He was part of Team Scotland, and he was running a dwarf list with a lot of dwarves. And I was doing pretty well. I was killing a lot of them. Surprisingly, my dice were hot at this point. Unfortunately, then my shaman died, and as soon as my shaman died, everything else died with him. It was like I was winning. Or I wasn't. I wouldn't say I was winning, but I was doing well. And suddenly I was out killing dwarves, which with their high armor, I was like, oh, well.
Which is insane.
So I was out killing the dwarves, and then suddenly, as soon as my shaman got sniped by Legolas, oh yeah, he had Legolas. It was really funny because as soon as my shaman died, everything else just like dropped dead. And in that game, Saruman killed more dwarves in close combat than he did cast spells. So that was also quite funny.
Who knew?
I know, right? So that I lost 10-4 in victory points on that game, which it was a bit disappointing because it was going so well at the start, but also the guy I was playing was really good. Knew his army, knew what it could do, and just in the end beat me on skill rather than it wasn't down to dice rolling because I had the better dice rolls in the first part of the game and stuff. So
yeah, unweighted dice.
Like, his army could exactly have unweighted dice out. His army, I actually bought new dice at the event, so if they were weighted, it wasn't my fault. So yeah, it was a really good game to start, and again, Alan, who I played, was a really great opponent. So yeah, that was a great game. Like I said, every game I played, I didn't have a single issue with any of the people I was playing. They were all really, really fun to play against, and just they seemed there to have fun. They weren't necessarily, obviously, some of them more than others wanted to win, but most of the people I played, being sort of mid-table, were sort of just enjoying themselves. So second game I played was against Dwarves again. Similar list, but he'd taken slightly more elite troops and less numbers and no Legolas. So he had very little shooting in his army, but he did have a ballista, like the little mini dwarf sort of siege bow thing.
Yeah.
Which didn't. I think it hit. Oh, I know what it did. It hit my crossbowman twice, and twice he rolled 1s to wound.
Oh, that sucks.
Which was hilarious. That none of my guys died. Like they're literally taking a strength 9 hit, and they're just like, nah, it's fine.
Nah, just Western boss. Yeah,
I'll take it. And that scenario I won 8-0.
Oh wow.
That was my biggest win of the weekend. Again, good game. The guy I was playing, he's quite young. He's called Sam. And yeah, it was. I learned tactically. I learned a few things in that game that was quite interesting. I figured out not to be so aggressive and stuff, but that failed me in the fourth game. Third game was against High Elves, against a guy called Rob. And as soon as I saw him put High Elves on the table, I was like, oh, I'm so screwed. I've played Joe's High Elves so many times. I'm just like, I still haven't figured out how to beat these fuckers. But it was like literally the scenario where you just fight and it's the most kills wins.
No.
I lost. I want to say I lost 8-1 in points in the end.
So you managed to kill one?
No. That was just like how you work out the score at the end. I lost I killed like 18. He killed like 39. Because each wound on a character counts as one as well.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I think I got a point. I think I want to say I broke his army in the last turn. I lost 8-1 anyway. I'm sure it was 8-1 in victory points. So it was again, it was a really good game, and there were some really funny moments. Like I spent all of Saruman's might points and like most of his will points just knocking Glorfindel off a horse. And I'm like, why did I waste so much trying to do that? It was like it was not necessary.
What are you trying to cause that instant death?
No, I just wanted to knock him off his horse so he couldn't charge. It was ridiculous. I wasted like all 3 might points to do it, and I was just, why? What am I doing? Like, this is just stupid. I just like, why? I didn't do that again in any of the other games. Like that was just really stupid. It weakened me for the rest of the game. Fourth game, which was the last game on the Saturday, I can't remember the guy's name. He was part of the Dutch group that were running the painting competition. Again, nice guy, quite young, and he was running an Angmar list. And it was a scenario where you basically had to get more models off your opponent's side of the table than the opponent. So a bit like that bolt action scenario where double envelopment.
Yeah. You got to get across their lines, and then you've got to
They got to get across yours. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll sit back and just shoot the hell out of him because he had no ranged attacks and not a lot to counter it, to be fair. And somewhere about 3 turns in or 4 turns in, I thought, I'm just going to run across the board. I'm done. I just want to get off this table. And it really back. I don't know what I was thinking.
You didn't get across in time.
No, I got a lot. This is the one game where I got my secret objective thing. Whereas basically all the heroes in your army have to take no wounds and spend no fate points. So I just ran them off the table. So Saruman, my shaman, Brasku, and my captain just all ran off the table. And my army I got enough models so that I didn't lose horribly on the table. I lost 3-0 in victory points. So it wasn't a horrible loss, but tactically, whatever I did, like whenever I decided to just try and rush the game, it might have been that I'd had a couple of drinks and it was late because it was the 4th game of the day and I was knackered. But whatever point I decided, right, I'm just going to run off, that was when I lost that game because Angmar lists are horrible up close, especially with shades. So my bad decision making lost me that. Well, not necessarily lost me. I might not have won anyway, but certainly helped me lose that game. Sunday, game 5. I was playing a guy called Steve, and he took a white council list, which was Saruman the Wise, not the evil one, Elrond, Glorfindel, Eristor, the 2 twins, Elrond's sons, Eladan and Elrohir, and he allied in a Stormcaller, which is like a high elf wizard. I came up with the filthiest tactic in that game. I would literally charge one Uruk-hai in against one of his guys and then shoot into combat. So I'd generally kill my Uruk-hai, but cause a few wounds here and there on him as well. And that worked. I won that game.
Nice.
I did win that game. I think I only killed like 3 of his models. 3 out of his 7 models. But by the time the game ended, he had murdered his way through half of my guys. But by the time the game ended, I actually won. I think it was, I want to say the points were 7-1.
Oh, nice. You want to?
No! I tell a lie. It was either 8 or 10-1 because I killed Elrond and he was his leader. I can't remember how many points I got for. It was 8 or 10-1 in the end. So it was that's a bit unfair on him. Oh no, 10-3. It was 10-3. That was what it was. 10-3. Because he broke my army and he wasn't broken. So 10-3 on victory points. So it was a good win, but had the game gone on longer, I would have struggled. Luckily, the game ended. Literally, as soon as one army breaks at the end of the turn, you roll dice on a 1 or 2. The game ends, and it ended on the first roll. So, had it gone on for that extra turn, I think I don't think I would have lost, but I wouldn't have scored as many points. So that was, and then game 6 was such a fun game. The guy I played was called, I want to say Ryan. And he had a dwarf slash Woes list. And it was Iron Hills dwarves sort of teamed up with Erebor dwarves. And we played one of the worst scenarios there is, which is seize the camp.
Oh, that's such the worst.
I don't like that scenario.
No one does. No one enjoys that. I don't know anyone who's gone, oh yeah, I really like that scenario. Everyone's just gone, nah, that's broken.
It's not the one from Battle Companies.
It was not.
No. It's probably worse than the one in Battle Companies.
How? How can it be worse?
Your armies deploy like opposite corners of the table. You get a little 12-inch deployment zone.
Yeah.
And that is your camp. You have to get more models into the opponent's camp than they get into your camp when the game ends.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just met in the middle, had a fight, and then the game ended. So it was a brilliant game. We were having a complete laugh. Like he had good guy Saruman as well in his list, just as an ally. And it was just some hilarious moments. Like I shot his eagle. I ran my Saruman across the table just so I could transfix his eagle, drag it into line of sight of my crossbows, and pepper it full of arrows. And he won 3-0 in the end because my force broke and his didn't. I think I could have run away from him and just shot him again to pieces, but it was so much more fun just getting stuck in. Had the game gone on a bit longer, I think I could have drawn it up maybe, but I could also have just run away and he could have won, so it could have gone either way. But it was a brilliant game to end the tournament on. It was a loss, but it was still a brilliant game.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much my weekend. So I won 4 games out of the 10 I played. I mean, one of them wasn't really a competitive game. It was the 4-player one, 3-player one. So that doesn't really count that much, but which is more than I expected to win for someone that planned my list 2 weeks in advance.
True. What were the prizes? Do you have like a top 5 or top 3?
There was top 1 and 2, I think, and then there was like highest ranked each army.
Yeah.
And I think runner-up of each army as well. So if you played Moria, it's the highest ranked Moria player, and then like runner-up Moria. I think we didn't hang around for the prizes because we knew we weren't going to get any, and we knew we had a 5-6 hour drive back. So we instantly sort of packed up, got in the car, and headed off.
Yeah.
Which was a shame, but
again, when it's a 6 hours journey,
it's a case of getting back I got back into Plymouth at midnight, and we got back to Exeter at just about 10:30. And I sort of got straight on a train, got back down to Plymouth as well. So had we waited till the end of the awards, we would have got back at like 2 in the morning.
And that'd be Monday morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not worth it. Just for...
No.
You knew you were going to win anything. I know it's nice to be real.
Obviously, if we thought we had a chance of winning anything, we would have hung around. But we weren't there for that. We were there for the fun. And a lot of people were in the same boat as us. They had long drives back, and a lot of them were doing the same thing. They were sort of like, we haven't won anything. Let's get in the car. Let's head off. Which I don't think it's not disrespectful, I don't think, in any way to the guys that won anything. It's just common sense.
Yeah, of course.
And we stopped for some food on the way back as well, which was nice. So yeah, it was good. It was a really great weekend. Had a great time hanging out with Joe and Adam and meeting Rob from Hysterical Games. It brought me my Kickstarter pledge for Spitfire. So there'll be a video going up soon of this. Yeah, it was a great weekend. I mean, the things I would have changed about the weekend. So here's my moans, because there's always some moans. The event was run wonderfully, like really, really well run event for 210 people, and to be organised so well was fantastic. Forge World had a stand there. That was obviously horrible because
it's Forge World.
And I spent money, obviously. They had some pre-releases there, which I got in its bag. So I mean, you won't see very well on camera, but I got. Oh, Chris is moving his. So I got the new orc captain guy, Goretz, with his.
Oh yeah, he's the one with the skull on his head.
Yeah, that's the guy. So he's there. He's in his little box.
I have seen some people model
They've
that
all
already.
right. So there was another guy there who was running his shop. So he had his shop. No, sorry. He was running. He sold bases. I'll get some out actually because they're really nice bases. So I bought some because they were nice. So he's called Generation Shift. And he does like scenic bases. I bought some for my Dole Amroth, which is my next purchase, which I'll get out in a minute. Although I've used one of them already on my Vampire Lord that I bought as well. So he actually, while he was there, because he was running a store, but obviously while people were playing, not many people were browsing and buying stuff. So he actually bought a set of these and painted them while he was at the event. And he's done a really nice job on it. So well played on that. Mine will be staying in the packaging for a while. So the other pre-release they had were the Knights of Dol Amroth on foot. Who wants to know how much these cost, by the way?
Well, yeah, I would like to know.
I'll take bids. Right. So Andrew, how much do you think these two guys cost?
£35.
Okay, Chris, how much do you think these two guys cost? They're Forge World resin. It's two guys, 25 mil, 28.
Resin. Oh, I'm gonna go 45.
Two guys for 45. Are you too crazy? Do you think I'm made of money?
Yeah.
There's two people in this pack. Two people. Yeah. They're 28 mil scale. They're 28 mil scale figures. Right, you're both miles out, sort of. It was £20.
20 whole pound. Wow.
£20. £10 a figure. Although you don't get the choice of just one, you have to get them both together. So it's £20. Yes, I know. It was right. I got 2 packs of the Knights of Dol Amroth. They only let you buy one the first day, but then on the second day they were like, we're running out. If anyone wants any more, you can come buy some.
You're like, yes, please.
So I was like, well, I might as well get a whole warband of them. Although that will change. Actually, that's something else. I'll go for the rules that changing. But these are beautiful. I'll post some pictures on. I think I already have posted some pictures on the Facebook group. So if you want to go and see these like laid out, you get quite a few extra bits in these as well, which is quite nice for a Forge World kit because normally you don't get that many extra pieces. But right, there's 6 models in each of these packs. 6 Foot Knights of Dol Amroth with lots of extra bits.
I don't know who Damroth are.
You are not my friend. They're like the Swan Knights. They're
Oh, I do know who they are. They were the ones that don't make an appearance in the film, but make an appearance in the book.
You are correct. Yes.
Yeah.
They're not in the films, but
they should.
They should have been because they're actually defending Gondor when the Orcs arrive. And Prince Imrahil leads the charge of the Minas Tirith out from the out. He's the one that leads the charge out of Minas Tirith to help Rohan when the battle starts to go a bit bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, 6 Knights of Dol Amroth per set, lots of little spare bits. How much are we thinking, people?
Well, if those two are 20 quid.
All right, right. Remember, these guys are characters. These guys are heroes as such.
Yeah.
And those guys are just generic troops, and that does affect the price.
So they're not actual like mounted.
They're not mounted. They're on foot.
On foot.
The mounted ones are the plastic ones you should get.
I reckon about 45 quid.
You reckon 40? You reckon I spent 90 quid on 2 boxes of troops?
Yep.
Fair enough. That's all right. Fair enough. Yeah. Chris,
I'm sticking with the 45. Actually, I don't know. I think you'd spend more because you got all that money. So, how many is in a box?
6 in a box. Hang on. Let me get the little flyer out.
Is it of a Forge World?
They are. Yeah. They're Forge World.
Jesus.
And you get extras as well.
And there is extra pieces in here, but I won't. So you get like 9 shields and like different sword arms. You get banner option. So you get 3 of each 3 of each shield design. You got the banner. You got the horn somewhere. I don't know where it is. I can't. Oh, there it is.
But it's not going to be bargain price, is it? It's not going to be like.
So that's what you get in the set there. Look how pretty they are. Oh, you get I think 10 different heads as well. I think there's like 5 helmeted heads and 5 unhelmeted heads, or there might even be 6 of each. I'm not really sure. But that's how nice they look. So they're beautiful, and the sculpts are so crisp, so nice looking. So go on then. You both think 45 quid each?
Yeah.
Not each, but per box.
Yeah.
You've overestimated again.
Shut up.
Was it £40?
No, it wasn't.
It's 40. It's £39.99. That's how much it was.
No. 412 don't work in pence. What are you on about?
They generally work in gold bullion, don't they? But that's beside the point.
Similar. They work in whatever's in Matt's bank account. But anyway, no, you're too high. 40 is still too high.
30?
30 is too low.
35.
Oh, come on.
35 is too high.
£32.
Bang on, Mr. Vasey. Bang on. £32 per set for 6 nights of Dollarhammer on foot.
So how much is that a minivan? Sorry.
I don't know. 16. No. I can't even work it out.
How many is in the box?
There's 6 in a box. So 6 times 5. So it's what? 6 times 5 is 30. So £5, 40 something per model.
Mm.
I think that's quite reasonable.
Is that all that they're bringing out for them, or are they bringing out more later on? Like, is it all?
The mounted rides are already out. They've already got the plastic box set from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Everyone there is hoping, or pretty much everyone at the event was like, "Is there a new Prince Imrahil model coming out?" Which they didn't deny it, but they also didn't
confirm nor deny.
I mean, they weren't really confirming any releases. Like, they were just saying that the guy that was doing it, the guy that won the competition, the guy from GW, yeah, Fix. No, he's a very good player. That's why he got the job. But he wasn't, when it came to actually like what's coming out, he was like, look, it's not my decision what comes out. Hopefully in the future, every model in the book will have every profile in the book will have a model available to buy. But what has been discussed is them doing it on like a rotational basis. So a bit like the made to order stuff you've been seeing from GW at the moment with 40k and Age of Sigmar. They're going to sort of have like, you can order some of it and then it will go away and then it will come back and then it will go away. And then so you can order it at certain times, but it's not always in their stock.
Yeah, sure.
So when it's available, buy it. But when it's not available, you just have to.
It's gone.
Well, not when it's gone. It's gone. It's just it's more of a case of we'll bring it back at some point because we know you guys want it. But right now we're going to do something else. So that, I think, is their idea of keeping the range not fresh, because obviously it's older models, but keeping it so that everything's available and you're not paying silly prices on eBay for models that are considered rarer, which I didn't realize. So I didn't realize, and I don't know how I missed this, because I've been collecting this game since it first came out. I mean, I went through a stage where I sold a lot of it, but there is an Uruk-hai Scout with banner model, right? And it is a thing of beauty. Like, I only saw it because the guy Adam was playing in the last game, who on the table next to me, funnily enough, had one. And I was like, that's a really nice conversion. He was like, it's not a conversion. It's just my Uruk-hai Scout with banner. And I was like, what? I need this mod. It's so nice as well. So I'm going to start trolling eBay and just seeing if I can get one for a reasonable price, but I don't think I will be able to. So it's lovely. Absolutely lovely. He'd also converted one as well, which is also very nice, but the actual model one was beautiful. So I'm very jealous of that guy that he had one. And that I didn't even know about it made me even more sad.
Call yourself a player as well.
I know. No, anyone that saw me play would know that's not true. But Yeah, I mean, I have had literally a fantastic weekend, which is why I've now booked off time to go to another event in December.
Awesome.
Also got the weekend off before Vasey if you want to organise an event for that weekend.
Which weekend is that?
Last weekend in November.
I think you just come up and see us. So I was just saying to Luke before now I've got a bit of kill team on the go.
Oh yeah.
Well, haven't. I've got some Space Marines. Basically.
Yeah, fair enough. I've so more wargaming news. I got an email yesterday, and it was weird because I was just thinking about it that day because I got into WH Smith and I was like, oh, they never did release that Warhammer 40,000 magazine that I sort of subscribed to, but then they were like, yeah, we'll send you the first issue, whatever, and they never did because then they were like, oh, we're not going to release it now. And I was like, oh, they never did release it. And they sort of this email saying, oh, we're hoping to bring it back in the future, blah, blah, blah. And so I went to WH Smith because the post office in Plymouth is also in WH Smith. So, and I was like, oh, they never did release that magazine, blah, blah. And then coincidentally, one of those weird coincidences, I literally got an email yesterday, a bit later on, saying, well, we're releasing the magazine, but you're still subscribed. So we're just going to send you the first 3 issues free of charge for subscribing before. You'll just need to update your details, which will send you an email later next week to do. And I was like, that's weird, but
Sweet.
Sounds good. 3 free issues. And I mean, anyone that remembers the old strategy battle game magazine, I know, Andrew, you had it. I know I had it. It's going to be similar to that, but for 40k.
Oh, sweet. That's good.
So the first issue is an absolute bargain. It's like $1.99. Not that I'm paying for it; I'm getting it for free. So, but it's $1.99, and you get 3 pots of paint, a brush, and 3 Intercessor Primaris Space Marines.
What's the next issue go up to?
I think the next issue is like $4.99 or $3.99, and then I think it's like $6.99 per issue or something.
I did that for the Lord of the Rings ones.
I know you did.
So much stuff.
But I mean, every issue that they've announced so far comes with at least 1 paint and models.
That's cool.
So
paint alone's like worth a couple of quid.
Yeah, the paint is what I think. I don't even know what GW charges for one of these now.
£5?
Probably. I think it's like £2.75. So that's coming out. All right. Anyway, back to changes to Lord of the Rings. So each hero is now going to be classified by a rank. So there's going to be 5 ranks, and I think they're called Hero of Legend, Hero of the Valor, middle level hero that I can't remember, minor hero, and independent hero. So if you're tier 1, which is the Hero of Legend, so currently in the game, Chris, I know you've dabbled in Lord of the Rings. I don't know how far you got into it.
I played the Escape from
Goblin Town.
Yes.
Which is a shame because that probably ruined your experience.
It basically has coloured my experience of
yeah. This is why the new starter set.
That's a scenario where you try and escape and goblins keep appearing out of the town. I
mean, goblins can do that in the game anyway.
Yeah, but I found the mechanics funny. But I think that
I'm not judging you, Chris. It's all right.
No, I'm trying not to say. I'm trying not. One thing I don't try and do is, I mean, I did it with Test of Honor to begin with a little bit, was throw a system away based on a single experience. So, and
then I came and played you, and you loved it.
Yeah, we played a bigger game, a better game, and it was far better. And I didn't actually realise what a fantastic game was and how fantastic it really is. So, I'm not saying I won't play it. I'm just saying I found some of the mechanics around fighting a little bit fiddly for me.
That's fair.
I'm used to fantasy battle, bolt action, kind of 6-man shooting for 6 days. You know, I'm not used to this kind of, which is kind of a cinematic feel of hand-to-hand combat between individuals, I think, But I don't know if that was just the fact neither one of us knew the rules very well and all the rest of it. I think it probably had parts to play, but...
Yeah, that's fair. Well, anyway, so basically, in the current rules, each hero, when you well, not all of them, if they're not an independent hero, each hero can lead a warband of 12 models from that faction. Up to 12. Well, it doesn't have to be 12. It could be up to you. Just be 5 or 6. Or... In the new rules, they've broken that down a little bit. So a hero of legend can lead 18 warriors. A hero of valor, of the Valar, can lead 15 warriors. A middle level hero, whatever that was called, I can't remember what it was called off the top of my head. He can lead 12, like now. And then a minor hero can lead 6, and then an independent hero is the same as what it is now. You can't lead any. So all the heroes are going to get categorized into one of those 5 categories, rather than just, here's Aragorn, he can lead 10 guys or 12 guys. Or here's other different version of Aragorn, or King Aragorn, he can still lead 10, he can still lead 12 guys. Now go build your lists. So they're making it a bit more, again, I guess, thematic by having, say, Theoden, who's a hero of legend for Rohan, being able to lead 18 guys, whereas, you know, Grimbold, for example, one of the minor Rohan guys, might only be able to lead 12. So gives you a bit, I think it will give you a few more options in terms of building your army as well. And also any models that give special rules that allow your army to take specific upgrades. Just going back to Rohan, because they're the ones I can think of examples for. So Erkenbrand allows you to take red shields. Only Erkenbrand's warband will be able to be red shields, not the whole army. So army building is going to become a much bigger...
Sit down and think about it, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a lot better. Well, not necessarily better, but I think it's going to be certainly more interesting.
It's going to be more tactical by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it opens up different builds, stuff that you might not try normally. Also, you have to use your highest level leader as your general. You can't just go, oh, I'm going to have Theoden and not Grima. Theoden and this random captain, and the random captain's going to be the general who I'm going to hide at the back of the table while Theoden goes around murdering stuff. Which it's a done thing at the moment. People literally will go, right, here's the Witch King, and here's my Orc captain. The Orc captain's going to sit at the back and hide while the Witch King goes and murder stuff. The Orc captain's the general. Have fun.
Just divide that. That's terrible. Anyway,
well, you can't really, but that's the rules at the moment. But you won't be able to do that anymore. So
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, no, and it makes sense.
A big cheer as well.
It makes perfect sense. It was like, I guess, in Warhammer Fantasy Battle, like you had a lord and a hero. The lord had to be the Oh no, what was it? It was the model with the highest leadership had to be a general, didn't it?
Yeah. So,
which again made sense. Of course, the guy with the highest leadership is going to be a general.
I always ended up with my bloody what do you call him? What's she called? Damsel. Because of my cheese lists.
I'm not even shocked. You played Bretonians.
Gone now.
All dead.
All dead.
It isn't because it's on the PC. It isn't dead.
All dead.
All dead. I even Google searched it and Google came back saying all dead.
It's emotional tonight. I'm playing 141 15mm figures. It's emotional.
Okay, well, I'm done with my Ardacon recap, basically. All I was saying. All right, so actually, I didn't actually ever get to my moaning. So the moans were, I think the food, or at least lunch, should have been included on the ticket price, because it was quite an expensive event. And
dare I ask, how, just from the point of view of somebody who organises tournaments, how much was your ticket?
It was £85.
How many days gaming?
3 days.
Oh, okay.
I don't begrudge paying.
No. I mean, hiring a big enough event hall.
It was in a hotel. They literally hired the hotel.
Yeah, so I mean that's all right.
But did you have a room in the hotel?
Well, yeah, but that was extra.
Yeah, okay.
That was £95 a night.
Wow.
That was reduced price. And the hotel isn't the night. It isn't. It's a nice building, but the hotel room I wouldn't say was worth night, and that was reduced. So me and Adam shared a twin bed, twin room, twin bed, shared a double bed. We shared a twin room, and it was £95 a night basically. So 40. Well, we just paid one night each. So we rented for the third night that we were up there on the Thursday. We rented out an apartment that was close by, but that apartment was really expensive over the weekend. It was cheap on the Thursday night, but it was really expensive over the weekend. So it wasn't the cheapest hotel, and basically the food wasn't cheap. It was we got discounts because we had our wristbands on, but the food that was available during like the lunch breaks was meant to have taken that into account. But you're looking at like sort of £6 for a burger and chips, which isn't that expensive. But when you're doing that a couple times a day over 3 days,
it's hotel cost, isn't it? And that's the thing about anything where you organise any of this. I mean, we found this would work. You organise a Christmas do.
Oh, God, yeah. Been there, done that.
You're going to pay £6 a pint, aren't you?
Exactly. I mean, the drinks weren't that. Well, drinks, because again, we were getting 10. I think we were getting 10% off everything. So the drinks always came up to like really weird prices. So I've been paying like £3.16 for a pint or something like that, or like £3.58 or something ridiculous that I end up paying for a pint. But the service on the bars was so slow. And that wasn't because lots of people were queuing. It's because just the staff was so fucking slow. Like I was waiting to get a drink before the seminar started, and I got there sort of like 10 minutes before the seminar started, and like 10 minutes into the seminar I finally got my drink, and there wasn't a lot of people at the bar, and it was just the staff there were just like really nice, but just so slow. Like I would never have, like when I was working in a bar, I would never have got away with serving someone or serving people that slowly. They're just like, well, Matt, what the hell are you doing? There's people to actually serve here. And again, I think that's that hotel mentality rather than it being an actual bar. It's like, oh, suddenly there's more than like 2 people drinking at once. What the hell's going on? So all I would say is if I was going to go again, I kind of expect it to be either a little bit cheaper or have food as part of the ticket price. Because I've been to lots of events where lunch is included, or at least like sort of like, like your events, Chris, what they're like 15, 20 quid, and you put food on.
Yeah, I mean the food itself, catering wise, you can put food on quite cheaply. I mean, it isn't. I mean, it's. I mean, I think I was worked out with £70 for 16 people.
Yeah,
$4 or £5 a head, I think it works out at. The next boat action event, I'm actually not doing food.
That one I'm not coming.
Mainly because you're not coming. No, I've got the price down to £12, so for a full day's gaming,
which is great. It's a bargain.
Yeah, and that's I'm actually going to put it potentially to the group where they want me to put food on. If I do, I'm going to have to ask for like a certain amount more. And I think
that's fine. The thing is, I think if it was me and you went, right, look, mate, the tickets. 12, even £15. I pay £15 to come to one of your events. I mean, you should be paying me to come, really, but I mean, if you turn around and said, look, it's £15 for the event, or we can do it food for £20, I think most people would pay the £20.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm gonna go back to the guys. I mean, not to hijack your conversation, but I'm trying to change the style of event we do. Mainly, if I'm honest with you, in light of the Kieran's warring state for the last one, trying to change it to more of to be more narrative. I think and more a campaign day. So there's some big changes going on. It isn't going to be 750 early war, 4 games. It's going to be.
What date was this on again?
16th of September.
Oh yeah, it was closer than I thought. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's a lot closer than you thought, unfortunately. You were busy, and it's a shame because I've got James Kelly and Jans.
I know. I was desperate to come over and see James.
And obviously, we're going to end up in Durham on Saturday, probably at some point.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing
Kind of state, probably. So
James has got some stuff for me. Apparently, so I'll leave it with you. Yeah, send it on.
All right, okay, cool. Yeah, he's got me some Tamiya stuff, I do believe.
Yeah, he's got me some Star Wars stuff.
My plastic habit. But yeah, I mean, I've lowered the prices a bit in line with the club we play at Durham Raiders. We are kind of aligning our events with them as well to be a Sunday and to be aligned to the club days as well. The club's on every other Sunday up there. So, and it's just to kind of play into align more. So, but our recommendation was about £12 a ticket based on the hall hire and things like buying mugs and stuff like that we usually do. This event, very different in that it's going to be a campaign day with reinforcements coming in.
I've seen your plans and
casualty. I mean, actually, what I should do, Matt, is add you to the group so you can see the full thing of what I've been writing up.
It sounds like a really exciting sort of narrative. Like it's going to involve the players so much more into
that's what I'm trying to do, and it's a bridge too far. It's based around obviously Market Garden. It's not an exact representation of Market Garden. It's going to be a couple of guys coming up Hell's Highway trying to relieve the paratroopers. There's going to be paratroopers landing, which is a mixture of US, Polish, and British. But they're landing with dropping dice and flying paper airplanes up the landing zones and stuff.
Mine would never be on the table.
Yeah, well, it's the whole thing, and there's always kind of craziness going on. We're looking at reinforcements and assets between games. We have to roll dice to get more stuff in the next game, and also there'll be a based on a lot of what the Two Fat Lardies do on their campaign system, based on how many men will come back after each game as well. So there's going to be an element of kind of shepherding and herding your guys and keeping them alive, as well as trying to take objectives or keep things open. So
yeah, that means that much more important to you in the campaign. Like you've got to really look after your guys.
Yeah. And it's going to be one of those things where it escalates a little bit. Where if you ever watch the film, you've watched the film and see the books, paratroopers kind of have an early start, get off the ground quite quickly and get forward, but then get heavier and heavier resistance against them, and that's exactly what's kind of I'm trying to build into it as well. And obviously, I've used elements of what is chain of command style campaign rules with bolt action. Don't know how that's going to work. To wait and see. And I'm also built in some of the bolt action campaign book maps from the Market Garden book, which is a fantastic book. So I'm trying to build it all in, but I'll also, it's the other thing, is I've actually specified the lists that people can play with.
Okay.
And what assets they'll have to begin with and what assets they can buy afterwards as well. Yeah. So basically, it's more historical in the group, in the organisation. So I haven't said to people build a 750 list, because that's always going to, I've tried to make it more, it might not, as I say, the list might not work, the list might fall over. I'll see how I can counterbalance that during the day. But I'll be more involved as a tournament organiser, campaign day organiser. And hopefully the players will be more involved as a team as well, trying to get to the objective. And also there'll be some balancing between matches, because we're going to have 2 commanders, one for the market and one for the garden element. And whatever asset points they get, they're going to make a decision between themselves on where they're going to put them. So are they going to put them into the airborne area, or are they going to try and get the relief force through? And hopefully it kind of builds a bit of tension that way as well. And a bit of it. I'm hoping for an enjoyable day.
with the reinforcements that come later on, the
Yeah.
airborne reinforcements, they obviously they get hammered.
Well, we will get hammered if the landing zones aren't open. So
Okay,
if landing zones covered in Germans, you're going to be landing in the middle of Germans, which are going to shoot you instantly out. So there's going to be an element of, I'm not necessarily going to penalise them for the points they're going to get, but there might be some things there. But one of the other mechanisms I'm going to use, one of the other mechanics I'm going to try and use is handing out medals, citations, instead of giving out points for wins and draws. It's going to be based on successfully taking objectives or attacking a machine gun nest, from a frontal attack on a machine gun nest, or taking out a tank with anti-tank grenades. We'll get you on the medal. We'll get you on the medal table, and that way you can roll on that after each game. As long as both sides agree that was a valorous act, or that was an act that deserves a medal from either side, you get the roll on those tables, and then obviously you can see if you can get up to kind of like a Knight's Cross or.
I like that.
Yeah,
it's a very different approach. I don't know how it's going to work, and then obviously, hopefully, we're going to have some prizes at the end for folk, and maybe try and give out some.
Did you watch that documentary with Jeremy Clarkson in it, talking about the Victoria Cross?
I didn't see that. I don't think. Maybe today. I can't think. I've watched quite a bit on YouTube.
It was quite a while ago now. He looks like quite a young chap when he was doing it, but he was talking about Operation Market Garden. He was all about the Victoria Cross, and he was following this. I think he was he was an army officer. I can't remember what he was, but he's followed him from the drop. He ended up I think he took out 2 tanks by himself.
Ledge.
Then he blew himself up with a Piat anti-tank grenade.
Not so much of a ledge.
Because as there was a tank around the corner, so as he jumped around and fired, it hit the window, the door frame, and it exploded up in his face. He got taken back to the sick bay. He got patched up, and then they're like, "Oh no, we're going to get overrun by Germans in a minute." So he went, "Okay, that's fine." So he picked up a field mortar, like those 2-pound field mortars, and started firing from the hip.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then all these Germans were kind of running through the hedges and realizing some crazy bloke who was covered in blood firing mortar rounds from the hip. They're like, you know what? We'll come back in a bit. So, it's things like that will get you on the middle table.
Yeah, it's kind of like trying to get that into a game. Obviously, there's some mechanics in there which we don't have, but there's other things where we do.
Firing the mortar from the hip.
Or hand assaulting a MG42 machine gun nest from the front.
Yeah, with just one guy.
If you're outside 12 inches, it's going to shoot first anyway. Yeah, you survive that, you get in. You're going to fight at the same time because he's defending the obstacle. If you take it out, you're definitely on that medal table, aren't you? You've got to be on that medal table for that. So there's other things in there about rescuing stranded men and things, maybe, or even having a medic in there and bits and pieces potentially. But the idea is to change how we do these things a little bit, and move away from 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and try and get it into, actually, is this a fun day? It's cost me £12. I've had a really fun day. The mechanics kind of work. And I've got other ones lined up after this, which are simpler, but this one's a bit complex, if I'm honest, for the first one. But we've got other ones which are going to be simpler, but are also going to be equally as kind of interesting, hopefully, in the longer term.
It doesn't really sound like a tournament, more of a.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. I want to get some prizes. I know I always get fantastic prize support from Dave's War Games, a guy who does loads of MDF stuff. He's brilliant. And if you ever check his stuff out online, it's absolutely awesome gear.
I've bought his stuff.
He's based up here, not necessarily that. And obviously, we always get great prize support from Lucky York as well. She's fantastic as well.
Got my t-shirts done for this weekend by her. They were lovely. Yeah. Thanks.
Well done.
I saw those.
They were top quality. I love them.
Yeah,
I did notice mine didn't come in the post though.
Well, that's because you have to come in December, and I'll get you one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we always get a couple guys have always kind of supported us and things like that. So the idea is we're going to we'll hopefully get bits and pieces. We have bits and pieces left over from previous tournaments as well. So we're going to use those and just go with that. And hopefully everybody has a stand-up day for a relatively low price and enjoys bolt action for the game it should be, which is kind of fun, isn't it?
Well,
yeah, I haven't played the second edition yet.
You haven't?
No.
I mean, I just sold my last army, so I need to get a new one.
You sold your bolt action army?
Sold my commandos.
Why?
To be fair, I've got a paratrooper army ready to go, so I haven't built them yet.
But the next event, maybe start thinking Eastern Front. Maybe this is a good option to think of. My idea.
Well,
I
can borrow
yeah, Grenadiers, so I'm pretty much on every front.
Yes, I'm thinking of I'm thinking Russian.
That would be cool. I'll borrow my mate's Russian army. That'll be fine.
Yeah, but I'm got an idea of doing something around Kursk, I think, because I think it's a cool battle. So
yes, I'll bring a KV2. I've always wanted to bring a KV2.
I remember destroying that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a real move away. If I'm honest, it's harder work to organise. I think if I was going to do a tournament, I'd probably just recycle what we've already done previously with bolt action. A lot of that is down to our friend Kieran.
Yeah,
he wrote this fantastic event pack, and I generally just rip that off in every strip in most of my tournaments nowadays because it just works nicely.
if broke, don't fix it. Yeah,
I like the early war as well because that kind of makes people think of the armies a little bit more. But I just thought of doing something very different. We're doing it in September, which is very useful because that's the same, obviously the same, very close to the same date as the Arnhem Market Garden was. So that should be interesting as well. But I think people have really bought into it, and it's great to see that we've actually got a group of players who are all really willing to kind of play like this. I think there's something.
Yeah, it's good. Like narrative campaigns are more enjoyable, I think, because it gets you like when you win something, it's like yes, like I'm helping my team, or I've achieved something better than I just won. Like you've achieved a better goal. That makes sense.
I mean, in essence, it's a quite a straightforward ladder as such. Apart from between games, your figures will stay on the table where they left. You'll get blokes back. You'll lose some blokes into the next game. There's things happening elsewhere on the table as well, and things might happen. Trying to get hold of some walkie-talkies, which would be quite good fun for the commanders to try and talk to each other. Trying to make them work without sort of being able to talk to each other full stop will be interesting. And then just working it through from there. But we'll see how it all pans out. Hopefully learn a lot from it and make it better in the future as well. But
I was going to say, like, this, it seems a bit of a steep learning curve, but once you've got the basics there, all you have to do is, like, once it works, just tweak it a little bit, see what needs tweaking.
Yeah, I think one of a few things I'm a little bit wary of is I think potentially we should have just done Arnhem or the Hell's Highway. We shouldn't maybe have done both, but I think that's just we'll find out. I think there's best on that one. I think folk will, and I'm fully aware that the guys who are involved will help. And
I hope they'll be patient with it.
Because... and I think that they'll help and come up with some ideas on the day if they need to as well. But I think we do. I don't know. I think
it's just to have fun at the end of the day, isn't it? Really. So
I think at the price, hopefully, folk don't feel like we aren't getting value for money as well. So,
I mean, to be fair, I know most of the guys that are going to be turning up to that event, and they're all good lads. So,
I mean, I'd gladly spend 20 quid for food on the day as well, because it means that if I pay £12, I'm going to have to go find food somewhere. Probably spend more than that anyway on food, and then I've got to come back. So I'm not late. If I know there's food there, I know I'm not going to be late getting back.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to look into it. I think I'll remember a bit of a rethink on that one because there's a little bit. I hadn't really necessarily maybe thought it through entirely. So
yeah, because that game club's in a little bit the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
Well, actually, strangely enough, if you actually go to about half a mile up the road, there's a whole roundabout Finford full of McDonald's, KFC's, Subway.
Right. You never told me that when I was there.
No, I didn't.
Either, right?
I didn't dare take you outside, mate. You up north. I mean, God, taking you anywhere is just a liability anyway most of the time.
That is fair. That is fair.
Yeah. I'm surprised you even got back from Manchester, really, but I'm sure there's other stories.
I actually went out on the Saturday night. Well, like, not out. Just do you know what? I didn't do this much of this weekend. Was actually drink. Like I had drinks, but I didn't get drunk any night, and that was because I didn't want to be like
that guy.
It wasn't even that. I didn't give a shit about being that guy, but I was more invested in the tournament because obviously it was quite expensive because it was quite a long weekend. I just didn't want to feel crap at any point. So although while I had drinks, I didn't go OTT at any point, and I think that definitely helped. Although most of the people I saw didn't really. There were a few people, but not many that went.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like, you know, about saying you got a weekend free. I think just maybe meet in the middle, maybe meet in Nottingham, and we'll go to Hammer World or something.
Well, I'll be going there anyway because of the Lord of the Rings tournament. You might as well just get some Lord of the Rings, mate, and join in.
Have you not got any yet?
No. Sorry, I'm up to my eyeballs in Flames of War at the moment, so
you can pick up a pretty good set from.
there's a new starter set coming out, isn't there?
Warhammer World.
Oh, not yet. No.
Like £32, you can get a box set of infantry.
Stick them together on my day. Paint them as I'm going between rounds.
Or you just get ghosts and just spray paint them green.
I'm actually, strange enough, I'm sitting on a box and it's actually got a pile of Moria goblins in it.
No, they're not competitive. Actually, they will be. They are getting a new special rule. So one of the guys I met at the weekend, really, really nice. I met him on Friday morning.
Did you meet anyone who wasn't really, really, really nice?
No, I didn't. I didn't meet anyone. Everyone I spoke to was really nice. There was one guy that Joe met. I'll go into that in a minute. That sounded quite funny, but I don't want to be horrible. But I think it was just because he was German. But I'll get to that in a minute.
Can't say shit like that.
Where's this going?
I can because I've got German friends, so it's fine.
No, you do.
I've got a German friend.
Yes, you do.
As our YouTube account is struck off.
Yeah, I know. Wait, no, we're offline. No,
and I'm on.
Oh my god. So Carl, who I met, who was friends with Rob, who was also in our team, Rob Alderman of Hysterical Games. Thanks for the stuff again, Rob. I did pay for this, by the way. He just delivered it to me. I actually think I paid for postage, so he actually just brought it to me, and I paid for postage. But anyway,
dirtbag.
Yeah, I know, what scum. No, he's great. He's a really nice chap, actually, because I always had quite a negative. I thought I had not negative thoughts about him, but because he used to work for Prodos, and he was like the sort of the face of their company when they went through the AVP Kickstarter thing. And he literally had to quit Prodos because everyone was like, "Oh, you're a dick," blah 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 blah. And actually, he's one of the nicest people I've met in ages. And spending the weekend with him, chatting to him. I probably spent more time chatting to him than I was chatting to Adam and Joe, which was
really bad. You're a bit fickle that way, aren't you, mate?
I know. I don't really like Adam, and Joe's a dick, but
bad friend.
I know.
Found some new friends. Goodbye, friends.
I literally made new friends. They're more useful.
How did you get up to Manchester?
One of them drove. Can't remember which one.
Okay.
They didn't leave me there though, so they didn't hate me that much. Oh shit! I'm going to Nottingham with them in a month.
Well done.
Or in a couple of months. They won't watch this anyway. They hate me. No. So Rob was great. So anyway, this guy Carl comes over and he has these beautifully painted. I don't know if you've seen them, but the Forge World Ring Wraith models, the Nazgul Dol Guldur. But the Forge World ones that are they're based on the Hobbit rather than the Lord of the Rings.
No, I've not seen them.
No, they're beautiful. They're lovely, lovely sculpts. I'm tempted to get a few, but they're 32 quid for 3.
Bargain.
I know, right? £96 if you want all 9 of them. So anyway, his army was 6 of them and the Necromancer, which is Sauron in disguise, or Sauron before he's fully powered. But he had.
Spoiler.
I know, spoiler. I always spoil stuff on this show.
You always spoil stuff.
I spoil something on the show.
Han Solo dies. Well, spoiler.
Spoiler.
That is. Don't tell me.
Spoiler alert.
I've seen the script. No. So anyway, he was up. So on the Friday, I don't think he was playing on the Friday. I think he was just there to have a browse. Don't think he played in the doubles. But on the Saturday, so his army list was just the Necromancer and 6 of these ringwraiths, and they were painted exquisitely. I'll send you both a photo in a bit, but if I can find one, but there's definitely some online. And he converted the Necromancer because the Necromancer model is one of the worst models in the Lord of the Rings range. Literally, it's a horrible model, but he'd converted his and it was awesome. But he had been up till on the Saturday. He was up till 4 a.m. on the Saturday, finishing painting for the tournament on Saturday.
Wow.
So on the Friday night, he was up till 4 a.m. finishing his painting for the tournament that started Saturday at 10 a.m. He did. He did quite well. But the painting is amazing. Like it looks great. And that was dedication. I thought, like, literally, like, oh well, didn't finish my army in time. Guess I'll stay up till 4 a.m.
6 hours left. Play the game.
Just bad planning in my book. I don't see why you should give him a medal or make him out to be something special. It's just
yeah, but like with me, I finished my painting like 2 days before. Whereas, and like they're like to super basic, but his like was just awesome.
Yeah, shouldn't see my painting at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, that's more impressive. Like that was it. If I was painting at that time in the morning, it would go to just fall apart. But I'm gonna try and find his warband and send a picture over. But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I forgot what I was actually talking about. I'm not gonna lie.
Actually, I don't think we should talk about it. I'm not gonna mind you.
Oh yeah. So right, anyway.
No.
Everyone I played was lovely. And I can't remember. Back to the distraction bit. Joe, also everyone he said played was lovely, apart from one guy that he pissed off in the last turn of one game, by accident.
What, Joe pissed him off, or he pissed you off?
No, Joe pissed him off a little bit. But Joe bought him a drink after the game. He was like, "Look, I'm really sorry, I read the rules wrong, or not." He read the scenario wrong. So Joe had actually won the scenario, but then because he didn't realize he'd won the scenario, he was like, "Oh, can we just play an extra turn?" And basically then wiped the guy, like tabled the guy. And then the guy was like, "Look, you would have won by the same amount of points anyway." And Joe was like, "Oh yeah, sorry." It was fine.
What? So tabling him didn't
affect the score. No, he would have won by the same amount of points. But anyway, that was Joe's mistake. But anyway, the guy Joe played before that was this German guy. Didn't know his name. Didn't really get chatting to him. Joe was running the fellowship. Joe, it was really funny because we were there. We didn't even really know all of the rules. I mean, we sort of did, but Joe's never run the fellowship before until this event, and he only ran the fellowship because he didn't want to paint any more models before the event. So Joe, basically the German guy at the end of the game was like, "I can't believe I have to play you. Like, how are you on the same table as me? How are you so high up the ranks?" And Joe was just like, "Wow. All right."
It's class.
Arrogant much?
Yeah.
So I think at this point, I think this must have been game 4. I think it was the last game on Saturday because Joe had won 2 and lost 1. So Joe is doing all right. Somehow, I don't.
Nothing like a winning mentality, is there?
But yeah, I think he finished. This German guy just finished quite high up in the end because I think Joe looked him up and see where he was. But yeah, no. This so Joe had a bit of a sour taste in his mouth at the end of Saturday, just because of what this guy had said. Like, and at first, when Joe was describing what had happened in like the game and stuff, I just thought he sounds a bit German, just like he was a bit abrupt, but like he just wanted to get on with it. And like play the game. Apparently, he was just like rolling dice, and Joe was like, "Oh, why are you rolling dice?" And the guy was just like, "Oh, because," and just kept rolling dice. And he's like, "Oh, well, yeah." It's just one of those players that I think it might have been a language thing, but yeah, when Joe told me what he said at the end of the game, I was like, "No, maybe he was just a dick."
What did you say at the end of the game?
Well, like, what I said, like he couldn't believe he had to play
Right.
Joe and his fellowship. Like how was Joe got the fellowship that that high up the table at that point? So that was the only thing I'd heard that was like a bit like. And a few from the top tables were a bit moany sometimes, I think, and they were the ones that tended to run over time with their games because I guess it's more important.
Yeah, so they're there with like the like microscope measuring every tiny little bit.
It's more like you're not if you get into the last the rounds were 2 hours long, which was in Lord of the Rings because there's no set turn limit on most games. It's a bit tricky to know if that's long enough. It's hard because like most games end when a force reaches a certain point. So a lot of the games ended because of the time limit, not because the actual point had been hit.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's part of the game.
Do you think there should have been a turn limit then?
No, I don't think there should be a time limit because that's not really how Lord of the Rings works. I don't.
Oh, no, fine.
No. I mean, it's an option, but I don't think certainly the scenarios you play wouldn't be benefited by a turn limit. But in the top tables, they would like so basically normally when it got to like 10, 5 minutes left, you'd be like, right, let's just call it there, whatever, that'll do. Because we don't want to start another turn and roll into the break. Because you're meant to finish your turn that you're on. But like a lot of the top tables would just keep playing until the end, and then they would finish the turn. Especially if it was a lunch break coming up and not just a little break.
Yeah.
So I guess it mattered more, but at the same time, it's sort of like, guys, you've got a time limit for a reason. Deal with it.
Mm.
But it was fine. I didn't see any of that because I wasn't at the top tables. I was in the middle or the bottom tables. Mostly middle. I'll just point that out. I was mostly in the middle tables.
I think if I'd have turned up, I'd have had like a thanks for coming award.
Yeah. You might have been down the bottom.
Yeah, like
at least I wouldn't have finished bottom of the team.
This is true. But no, I'd have beaten you just.
No, I genuinely, I wasn't there. I said as long as I finish in the top 200, and there was 210 players, I would have been happy with 199th. So to get 167 or 166 and win 2 games against some very experienced players, like the people I was playing knew what they were doing. Like, I'm not saying that I didn't, but definitely the people I was playing probably put more thought into their armies than I did. So it was nice to just play some games. But yeah, overall, it was a really fantastic event. Like I said, the fact that the hotel service was slow and the food was...
I don't think they can prevent the hotel service, though.
No, they can't. It's out of their control. But at the same time, they're renting the hotel, or like pretty much a big chunk of the hotel. And the hotel knew there was 210 people turning up for this event. I don't know what Chris is doing right now, but he's breaking something.
You're right, Chris.
What is he doing?
I think he's fallen down some stairs.
It sounds like he fell down several flights of stairs. What were you doing?
Get my headset out.
We were already concerned.
So now he gets his headset at the end of the podcast.
Well, I've just been told off, so yeah.
Well, I'm gonna call the podcast, but guys, if you want to stay on and chat for a bit, that'd be cool. But guys, cool. Anyone that was listening to the show or watches it afterwards, thanks for watching. It was gonna do just my thoughts on Ardacon with these guys. It's obviously we've deviated a bit from the actual stuff, but basically Ardacon, if you're considering going to next year's event and you play Lord of the Rings and you're excited about Lord of the Rings, if you're a new player, an old player, get yourself to Ardacon. It was a great event, especially for me. It was my first Lord of the Rings competitive event. And I'm now super excited and I want to enter another one. So I'm going to go to Throne of Skulls in December as long as I get a ticket. And I'm going to drag Andrew with me because he needs to get involved. You laugh. I'm at you. You are coming.
It's only because you need a ride.
No, Joe and Adam are coming as well.
Okay.
You're in. You're in.
I'm in. I'll start painting gondolas.
Yeah, you need to get your army painted, and I'll obviously get the new rulebook when it comes out as well.
Yeah, we'll need that.
You will. We'll get some practice. We'll organise a lot of practice games. We'll take this seriously, competitively, and we'll turn up with these super duper lists.
Okay,
And,
I won't take Gondor.
No, they'll be better now. They'll be better. I think a Gondor list came third. I think.
Oh, that's surprising.
I think
Who
it
came first.
I
Actually,
think- the guy that came, the guy that is designing all the new rules, came first. He ran a lake town list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he had Bard and he had Gandalf and Bard's daughters and Percy and Alfred. So, and the girl that came second was Australian. We met her in Warhammer World on the Thursday, and she clearly knew her stuff because she came over and saw us playing Lord of the Rings and was like, "Oh, are you guys playing an Ardacon tomorrow?" And we're like, "Yeah. We just thought we'd get a practice game in for the first time the day before." And she was just telling us the rules, like our army's rules, whereas we're like trying to look through a book trying to find them. She's just like, "Oh, it does this, it does that," and she's like, "She's a very good player." And
she came from Australia.
She came from, yeah. There was most of the event. I'd say 50% of the people there were foreign, and they travelled really far. There was Team Canada, there was Team Australia, Team Ireland, Team Scotland, Team Wales. There was loads of Dutch, loads of Norwegian, Swedish. Yeah, there was people from all around the world. Team America. I actually don't. There were some Americans. I don't know if they had a whole team, but there were definitely some Americans. But yeah, she was running a Arnor list, which was cool.
Yeah. So there wasn't like a group of armies that came on top then, like of the same type. It seemed very mixed bag.
Not from what I've seen. I think it's quite a mixed bag, but until they release all the, actually,
yeah.
I'm sure I can't remember if the list had all the armies on there that they ran, but it will come up eventually. But
yeah,
it was really cool. It was a really good event, so I would definitely be tempted to go back again next year, depending on price and times and stuff. Yeah, so, but yeah, Throne of Skulls in December. I'm going to go to that and have fun and play that. So new rules and try and figure them out in the meantime. And you're going to come, and maybe Chris. We'll get Chris involved too. You can bring your Germans, Chris.
Oh, that's all that matters.
It's like, why is there Luftwaffe here?
It's as good as it's just going to get. Can I proxy these boys in, please?
Send the Eagles.
My winter Germans.
Yeah. That's exactly what I mean.
My Eagles with my Nazi dwarves on top.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Well, let's not go there, shall we? Yes.
I mean, it's closer than just Germans. Anyway, yeah. Actually, Chris, I know you're tempted already.
Yeah, I am very tempted by that, mate. That's gotten my PayPal written all over it, unfortunately.
It's all right. They're not for sale yet, I don't think. So you're safe for a minute.
For like about a month.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, end of the podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and just comment below if you want to hear us talk about anything specific next time. And we'll see you again soon.